Hello, I'm John Kneebone and welcome to Mainline Baits Carp Fishing TV and another how-to video, where today we're going to be taking a look at a presentation that's perfect for wafting hook baits as well as clear water conditions, and that's the Combi Rig. We've also got the details of who won our latest bait making giveaway, so make sure you watch to the end of the video for that. There's quite a lot to get through, so let's get started. This is a Wafter rig, so we're going to use the Pastel Barrel Wafters for the hook bait. You'll also need some IQ fluorocarbon and supernatural braid for the Combi Rig hook link. My preferred hook for this rig is a size 6 curve shank, and you'll also need some bait stops for securing the hook bait. We've got some shrink tube for a little kicker and some silicone tubing for positioning the hair. To help balance out the rig, we'll need some tungsten putty, and we'll also be incorporating an anti-tangle sleeve. You'll need some sharp scissors and a standard boilie baiting needle, as well as some pulley tools for tightening down the knots and straightening out the hook link. Okay, now we've covered what you need, let's start putting this rig together. Starting with the supernatural braid, just pulled off there, round about 10 inches. You want plenty of braid to work with, and this is a soft, uncoated braid, and it's going to give this section of the rig plenty of movement. I've just made a simple overhand loop. Just pull that through just to create a hair loop. I really like using my baiting needle for these little knots, just makes things a lot easier. Just tidy things up quickly, just take off that tag end. There we go. And now we're ready to attach our hook bait, and that's going to be a cranberry orange Pastel Barrel Wafter. So just going to put the baiting needle down the length of the hook bait, and the reason we're attaching this to our hair now is it means that the hair will be the perfect length as we continue to create the rig. So there we go, just pulled that through, just put a hair stop into the loop, just pull down the braid a little bit, and hook bait is securely in position. The next thing to do is take the silicone tubing and just snip off a very small section. There we go, you can see there that's just 3 or 4 mil long. And now you need to take that little piece of silicone and thread it on to the supernatural braid like so. Now you can take your hook and carefully thread it through that little piece of silicone. Just be careful not to push the point through the braid, that's the danger at this point. There we go, and now we can position the exit point of the hair about opposite the point and barb of the hook. And now our hair is the perfect length. Now that we've positioned the hair, we can now secure the braid to the hook using a knotless knot. So take the braid through the back of the hook and then come down the shank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and then go back through the eye again, like so. A little bit fiddly with a soft braid. And there we go, and just pull that down tight. And that's the hook secured into place, and we can move on to the next step. Now that we've created this soft, short section of the hook link, we now need to create the longer boom-like section of the Combi Rig using some fluorocarbon. So I'm just going to trim off around about 14 inches of the material there. You want to have plenty to work with. And the next step is to create an Albright knot. So you need to take one end of the hook link, fold it back upon itself, so you create a long loop, probably 3 inches long, and then just pinch that down towards the end just so that you've got a smaller loop to work with. You can now take your braid, pass that up through the loop, just so that the eye of the hook is level with the end of the loop, because once we pull the knot down, that's going to give us a soft section around about 1 inch long. And then just pinch everything together and start turning the braid down around the fluorocarbon like so. Lots of people like to wrap down different amounts of turns. I like to go 6 turns down. Now it can be a bit fiddly, but it's such a crucial part of the rig this, that it's really important just to take your time and get it absolutely right. So that's 6 turns down. I'm just going to pinch all those turns and then come back over the 6 turns with a further 3 turns. There we go, that's the last of those 3 turns. Can now take that tag end, pass it back through the loop of fluorocarbon, and just licking my fingers there just to add a little bit of moisture to the knot to tighten it down. I'd probably put the knot between my lips ordinarily just to get it nice and wet, just so it slides down nicely. And now we just need to keep adding some pressure just to pull the knot down and tease all those turns down nice and slowly. You want them to stay all in line for a nice strong knot. So there we go, they're just coming down. Now I'm going to grab the pulley tool just to really put a little bit more pressure into this and really tighten that knot down. And there you go, that's the knot secure, that's not going anywhere. With the knot complete, all we need to do now is just tidy things up a little bit. So firstly, we're just going to take our scissors, just trim off the tag end left by the braid, like so. And then again, we just, that's it, just get the hook out of my finger first, super sharp hook there. Is just trim off the tag end from the fluorocarbon, and there we go, that's our Albright knot complete. We now want to add a little kicker to the rig just to help it flip and turn, and I'm going to use a little piece of shrink tubing. You could use a pre-made kicker if you wanted to, so I've just cut off around about a centimetre of shrink tubing there. We can now take our hook link, simply thread the piece of shrink tubing down the fluorocarbon, over the Albright knot and onto the eye of the hook. So just get a hold of everything and just give that little wiggle just to get it in position over the eye, and there you go, that's it in position, ready for shrinking. So being careful not to burn yourself or damage the rig, just shrink that tubing down over some steam to an aggressive angle like so. We're almost there now, only a few more steps. So now we're going to add our anti-tangle sleeve, just thread that onto the hook link like so. And then so that I can attach this rig to a quick change swivel, I want to create a loop in the end. So I'm going to use a figure of 8 loop knot, so just create a big loop, then fold that back upon itself, then take that first loop under the second loop. Again, I'm going to use my baiting needle to pull that first loop back through the second loop. Just tweak it down a little bit there. Don't use your baiting needle to tighten the knot, you'll only end up snapping it, and you really don't want that to happen in the middle of your session. So I'm going to use a chod it tool there and a pulley tool to pull that rig down, tightening up all the knots and straightening out the hook link. That figure of 8 loop knot, it may be a little bit fiddly, but it is super strong. I'm just going to tidy it up there, just trim off the tag end of the fluorocarbon. We can take that anti-tangle sleeve and just feed that over our figure of 8 loop knot, and there we go, got a nice loop there ready to attach to our terminal tackle. The final step is to just now add some weight and counterbalance near the hook end of the rig. So I'm just going to take a little bit of putty, just pinch some off, take the rig, and our Albright knot that we created earlier is the perfect gripping point for our piece of putty, so just push that on, mould it around, and just between finger and thumb, a few twirls just to mould that into a nice neat barrel like shape. And that's the putty, nice and neat and securely in position. And there we go, that's our Combi Rig armed with a wafter, ready to go. A key element of the Combi Rig is this soft section near the hook. It gives the hook and hook bait plenty of movement, and that piece of putty is helping the hook turn and flip. As I mentioned earlier, I like to use a figure of 8 loop knot to attach my rigs to a quick change swivel, either heli style above the lead like this, or with a lead clip system like this. The buoyancy of the hook bait means that it will react extremely quickly when investigated by feeding fish, and the weight of the hook lying flat on the lake bed is balancing out that buoyancy perfectly. A key element of the Combi Rig is the fluorocarbon used for the stiffer, long section of the rig as opposed to a coated braid. You can see here, or rather not see, it's nigh-on invisible, perfect for clear water fishing situations or when targeting spooky or wary carp. Okay, now for the part you've all been waiting for, details of who won our latest giveaway. And the winner is Jamie Murphy. Well done, Jamie. You can get in contact with us via our email address here on YouTube or on our website. We can send out some Cell base mix, activator and the flavours needed so you can make some Cell banoffee boilies. Thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Hit that notification button so you know when the next video is coming out. If you don't yet subscribe to the channel, please hit that subscription button below. We'd really appreciate it. And if you'd like to watch more how-to videos, I'll leave links to those here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.